Down goes Santos, sort of eventually. George Santos is leaving, but not on the timeline that I think most people would choose. All of this is coming out in the immediate aftermath of the release of the House Ethics Committee report on his behavior. And he responded to it on Twitter. And it took him a while to make the only point that really mattered. But here's what he had to say in response to this damning evidence, which we're going to break down for you. If there was a single ounce of ethics in the ethics committee, they would not have released this biased report. The committee went to extraordinary lengths to smear myself and my legal team about me not being forthcoming. My legal bills suggest otherwise. And you can trust anything he says about finances, obviously. It's a disgusting politicized smear that shows the depths of how low our federal government has sunk. Everyone who participated in this grave miscarriage of justice should all be ashamed of themselves. And I get what he's doing here. He's doing the Trump thing of implying that any investigation is obviously biased and you shouldn't pay attention to it. Note though, for George Santos, if you're trying to win over the Trump people with this sort of narrative, your vocabulary is way too good. You gotta dial it back a little bit, use more caps lock, and then you might have them. But anyway, he goes on to say that we need a constitutional convention to save him, I guess, like something debt, something southern border, all issues that he very much cares about and is working very hard on. But none of that is particularly important. If you push past multiple paragraphs of that, because reminder, Twitter now lets you make tweets that are way too long, he eventually gets to the point. I will, however, not be seeking re-election for a second term in 2024, as my family deserves better than to be under the gun from the press all the time. And if anyone, I can agree with him, if anyone is responsible for his family potentially being too much focused on by the press, it's the press's fault. He hasn't done anything over the past few years to draw intense scrutiny on his actions. But anyway, he's leaving. Not immediately, Mondale, but he is eventually going to be going. This doesn't necessarily change too much, since it looked like he was gonna have a pretty hard path to beating, Republican challengers in the primary, let alone winning a general election. And honestly, as much as I do wanna see him gone, I really wanted to see him lose on his way out. So I feel like this is his last insult to us as he leaves the door. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Him not having to run for re-election is another grift by this guy. I feel dirty when I found out he was not going to run for re-election. We are owed your defeat. I need to believe the people of that district would never, like you said, the mask are off with you, never re-elect him. But the problem is, here's the problem. This person talking about their family under intense scrutiny is absolutely ridiculous. I've not seen anybody scrutinize his family. It is him that's being scrutinized. And maybe that brings pain to his family. Well, buddy, you kind of deserve it. I mean, let's be clear here. George Santos is nothing more than the embodiment of everything that is this idea that we could do base politics and it's enough, just riling people up based off of emotions.
Yeah, I don't. We've talked about George Santos, I think 87 times, and I don't know anything about his family. I don't think. There's a lot of names sort of floating around George Santos, but I'm pretty sure all of those are alter egos for George Santos. I don't think there are any other human beings related to him. So it's what they always do when they finally step down. But it is like, it's good that he is going to be, that he's not going to be in Congress anymore. But I really do feel sort of robbed. So I want to do a sort of twist on something else that's happening out there. I know that there's a lot of people who are signing petitions and trying to do like, a legal process to get Trump barred from the ballot in multiple states. I want to start a petition to force him to be on the ballot. George Santos should be legally forced to run for re-election so he can get his ass kicked. That's what I want. Sign my petition. But anyway, you mentioned that this is sort of a grift. I think it's 100% that. This way he can say, I never lost. And because I announced that I was stepping down, they're probably not going to investigate, on the political side anymore. It just takes some of the pressure off him and lets him turn to whatever ridiculous thing comes next in his career. That's sort of what I feel is coming.
Yeah, I mean, and you're absolutely right. And we also should mention that him not running for re-election still gives us a year of this guy grifting and making connections to make money off of the United States government and taxpayers. That's exactly what this is about. You said it, you hit it right on the head when you said he's trying to tamp down this ethics investigation or see to making sure it don't go any further than what it already has, exposed on him another lie, another group of lies about him that could hurt him, provincially making money for the next 11 months or so. And then he'll do whatever he does, consult for Trump or join Trump's administration if he wins. Who knows?
Maybe. Or, maybe he won't run for re-election, but maybe he'll run for election under a different name. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, George Santos, and you're right, another year where there are so many people in that district that deserve representation and they will not get it. They won't get it. I saw a comment, I apologize, I didn't see who sent it, but that, I wouldn't necessarily expect that he would lose re-election. After all, Boebert got reelected. And that is true, but Boebert is bad in a much more typical way for Republican. Like George Santos is such an outlier for his behavior that I have to believe that he would lose. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.